Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. This video is actually going to come out in the afternoon. I got a dental appointment, so I want to make my videos. It's going to hit 5 o'clock. I do want to talk about Palantir, and hopefully Palantir had a really good day because there's a lot of news that just came out. And of course, as always, with the Homeland Security contract and with so many other contracts, the news is not going to be picking this up. The news is not going to pick up this contract, but I will bring it to you first, I think, on YouTube. Definitely one of the first people who's bringing it on YouTube. And of course, I got my information from where? From Twitter. Thank you so much, Chad Palantir. I really do appreciate you. I got it from him today. And before I go any further, I just want to say I hope everyone's making some money or at least not losing any money on this Wednesday. Guys, the market swings up, the market swings down. Personally, I was talking to my Patreon group yesterday. Shout out to the Wolfpack. I'm learning every single day, just like everybody on the other side of this lens. If we're not learning every single day, we are dying every single day a little bit more. So I like to learn because of the market swings, because of the US dollar, because of the economic war, because of the geopolitical tensions in Ukraine, because of the pound and real estate and so many other things. There's an ability to swing trade, maybe day trade, but swing trades, short-term plays of puts and calls on different type of commodities, different type of assets, so on and so forth. And I think I will try my hand on that and share it with my own Patreon group. And when I say I'm sharing with them, they're sharing with me. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Special thanks to the Wolfpack. I appreciate you. With that said, I do want to talk about a massive contract with the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, for Palantir. Now, you might have heard their name before. This is not the first contract, not the second, but the third contract. And I'm proud to say that every single contract that Palantir is getting with the NIH is a completely separate, brand new contract, which means they are probably reaching different departments and sub-departments within the NIH. Once you go CARP, you never go dark. And I really like the sticky ickiness of Palantir. The first contract was around 39 million. The second contract was just a smidge under 60 million. And the third contract right now is 65 million. But the most interesting thing about the $65 million contract, it's up until 2025. Which means we're getting approximately $20 million a year, which is double the usual contract amount per year, and double the usual contract amount per year, which is $10 million, is already an industry high. Because Palantir, again, it is for everybody, but not everybody uses Palantir. But when you do use Palantir, you spend a lot of money for the Palantir contracts, because Palantir, of course, is an enterprise builder, an empire builder, not snow whack and not data shit. Palantir is in an entire different level, and we just need people to understand that, companies to understand that, governments to understand that, and we will be all right. And it seems like there is a little shift in Palantir, and people are starting to understand that Palantir is the shit, but not that smelly shit, that dope ass shit that everybody wants to get their hands on. With that said, let me show you the contract really fast. First and foremost, shout out to Chad Palantir. You guys definitely got to give him a follow. He gave me this information. I also DM'd him and he answered a couple of my questions and we went back and forth about this contract. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. His name is @Chad Palantir. Definitely give him a follow. And then you see there's a little bit of a back and forth with my man Arnie, and he gave us some insight into the contract. So Chad Palantir writes, Palantir signs a new contract with the NIH until 2025, total value $65 million. And then I went back and forth with him in DMs and I asked him, hey, can you show me the actual contract? And he sent me this actual contract. I don't know if you guys could see it, but let me zoom in on this. And you can see that the contract right here is $65 million. And the specific sub-department of the NIH is National Institute of Health, NIDA. And as you can see right here, the contract was signed 9/27, and the contract is going to go until 9/27/2025. But it gets really, really interesting. Check this out. Arnie, who's my mathematical genius, this guy is called the Italian Turkey. Definitely follow him. Most underrated financial technical aspect YouTuber that there is. I don't care about any of these big YouTubers. He is the most underrated, like, technical numbers guy in YouTube right now. You must follow him @Arnie_Trezzi. So he broke down the numbers. At $20 million a year, that's 2 times Palantir government average revenue per client, which is already obscenely high. And I don't know who Jan is, but definitely follow him or her at CraftJan0. And he says 5 million per quarter is insane. It most certainly is insane. But let me show you what else is insane when it comes to Palantir. So remember, the number is 65 million, and this is a different department within National Institute of Health. The most important thing is how Palantir got into the NIH. So if you remember, there was a little program called Warp Speed, right when coronavirus hit. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump comes up with this thing and he says, hey, we need to distribute the PPP, we need to distribute the vaccine. And despite what you believe or don't believe, that's what happened. And we had this mass mobilization of how do we deliver, and not just in the United States, this also was in the UK and other places, but let's concentrate in the United States. How do we deliver mass medicine, mass mobilization of medical treatment, of medical distribution, whatever you want to call it? How do we do this? And they relied on Palantir. And in Warp Speed, they hired Palantir. So let me show you the first contract. In September 24th, 2018, the NHS was already working with Palantir. With a $7 million contract, the NIH taps big data analysis platform Palantir to streamline health research. Palantir, which is best known for its work in other industries, will deploy software able to automatically aggregate research data from public and private sources into a single interface. So this was 2018. They tried out Palantir. They gave them a nice little $7 million contract. And you heard what they said. To automatically aggregate research data from public and private sources into a single interface. Great. That's how they started their journey with the NIH. Fast forward 2 years later, the NIH is expanding Enclave for COVID-19 data with a $36 million Palantir contract. This 1-year ceiling contract currently consists of 4 task orders, which were placed Sunday to support a variety of NIH workflows related to COVID, cancer, and AIDS. This isn't the first time Palantir has won a non-competitive contract since the start of the pandemic. Both the Departments of Veteran Affairs and Health and Human Services quickly awarded multi-million-dollar contracts to Silicon Valley company for the data services, citing the unusual and compelling urgency of coronavirus recovery. So the NHS hires Palantir, gives them a $7 million contract in 2018. In 2020, coronavirus is going crazy. Operation Warp Speed is on its way. Palantir is already working with other government agencies for distribution and help of data and mobilization. And the NHS hires Palantir and gives them this 1-year massive deal. Fast forward a little bit, NHS awards Palantir further contract for COVID-19 data enclave. So there was an emergency, there was a pandemic, everybody understood this, and they were already working with Palantir, so why not give them another contract? That's great. But then you got this contract right here. The NHS, National Center for Advancing Translational Science, awarded Palantir a new indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract, raising the ceiling to $59.5 million over 2 years. So now you use Palantir, they help you. You give them a contract, and now you expand this contract, which brings us to today's contract of $65 million. Now, the contract from today is a different department, a different subset of the NIH that they've been working with before. As we said, Palantir is sticky icky. Once you go carp, you'll never go dark. So you try Palantir. Palantir solves the problem that you were looking for. Palantir solves the issue that you didn't even know you had, right? They give you the solution you didn't know was possible. And then you keep expanding your relationship and expanding your relationship and expanding your relationship again with Palantir, because Palantir just makes your life all that much easier. Which brings us to today. Guys, Palantir is a monster. Let me rephrase that. Palantir is an absolute freaking beast waiting to be unleashed. Little by little, the bars on the cage that is held in are being thrown away. They're being chewed away. Palantir is winning contracts left and right. Right now, there's going to be tons of new spending for government contracts starting October 1st. October 1st, next week, is the new government spending year. It starts October 1st. There's going to be renewed renewed energy, renewed, replenished finances to spend on different contracts. And I believe that Palantir is going to get a shit ton of these contracts, both military and non-military spending. I believe that a lot of money is going to come in from the geopolitical uncertainty in Ukraine right now. I was reading an article, which I'll save for a different video. Let me read you the headline of the article, and I'll save the actual article for a different video. This is a Seeking Alpha news article. It literally came out yesterday, September 26th at 6:15, and I screenshotted it to show my guys on the Patreon group and on Twitter. It says Palantir is undervalued with Russia war and AI tailwinds. Palantir is a leader in the gold standard software used for military, manufacturing, and logistics cases. The company has recently expanded its contract with the U.S. Army Lab and was announced as a leader in artificial intelligence. Palantir is poised to benefit from the tailwinds across increased defense spending driven by the Russia-Ukraine war, in addition to the underlying growth of big data industry. Palantir's stock is undervalued intrinsically and relative to historic. And I don't know, that's when I cut off the screenshot. But you guys can see that Palantir is a beast. You guys can see that Palantir is getting these massive contracts. For any dumbass that is going to say that Palantir is a meme stock, how can you say that when governments are spending tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to work with Palantir? Not once, not twice, not three times, but multiple times. And this doesn't just happen once. It's all the time. You see all this government spending coming to Palantir. Once you go carp, you'll never go dark. I'm going to keep telling you this again. The only reason you wouldn't use Palantir is if you don't have the funds. But then the question is, are those funds used properly? And can anybody do something that Palantir does for cheaper? And the answer is no. Nobody can do what Palantir does for cheaper because nobody can do what Palantir does. And is the money that you're spending put to good use? Yes. If it's for national health and national security, how can you say the money is not put to good use? We spend so much money on bullshit, as many, many countries do. How can you not spend the right thing to do the right stuff with the right company and the right contracts? National health and national security is a really, really big thing. And when I say national health and national security, I also mean across the borders, because security doesn't start and stop within our borders, and including national health, because now national is also international with so many flights, right? And people can go across borders. Everything is a world issue nowadays. Guys, thank you so much. Please give me the likes. Please give me the shares. Please give me the subscribe. Let my voice be heard. Let me get up on the YouTube almighty algorithm so that when people search Palantir, they see this unbelievable strength, this unbelievable desire, and this unbelievable passion that I deliver, my love for Palantir. And hopefully we're going to make a lot of money in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, investing in Palantir. Not financial advice, of course, purely entertainment and education. Thank you. Have a great day.